Chapter 7, Jill's House. We walk with Jill back to her house. It may look small on the outside, but it holds a lot of animals on the inside. There are 2 dogs, a goat, 3 horses, 4 goldfish, 1 cow, 2 guinea pigs, 1 camel, 1 donkey, 13 flying cats, and 36 rabbits. Count them if you don't believe me. I thought you only had 6 rabbits, I say. I did, says Jill, but you know what rabbits are like. Yeah, says Terry dreamily. They're soft and cuddly and they bring you chocolate eggs at Easter. That's not quite what I mean, says Terry. Terry frowns. What do you mean? I'll tell you about the rabbits later, Terry. I say, cool, says Terry. Where do we sleep, Jill? You and Andy will be sleeping in here, she says, taking us into her bedroom just on the living room. Wow, says Terry, this bed is huge. And where do all the animals sleep? I say. Jill is talking, but it's hard to hear her over the noise coming from the living room. Bash, bite, chomp. Excuse me, she says. I'd better go and see what's wrong. She goes back into the living room. Terry and I watch through the door. What's going on here? Says Jill. All the animals freeze. One of the horses raises its front leg. Yes, Curly, says Jill. Nay, says Curly. Nay, 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 nay. A butterfly, says Jill, translating. A butterfly flew in through the window while you were playing cards with Larry and Mo. Larry looked at the butterfly and while he was distracted, you saw Mo peek at Larry's cards. So you told Larry and Larry got cross and kicked Mo off his chair. And Mo landed right on Pat, who was reading to Bill and Phil. And Pat's head jerked up, flipping Bill and Phil into the air. And Bill landed on the bench and knocked the goldfish bowl, which fell into Fluffy's head, Foop, making her look like an alien, which scared Loopy and Leica. Bark, bark, bark. And they barked so loud they frightened Pink and Mr. Hee-Haw, so they stampeded and crashed head-on to one another and then crash. Fell into the rabbit's wooden block tower, which made the blocks go over the floor, period, the end. Curly finishes his story and Jill laughs and shakes her head. Oh, you silly thing, she giggles. I think the real problem here is that it's dinner time and you are all hungry. Am I right? At the mention of the word dinner, the animals get very excited. So does Terry. What are we having? He says. Well, it depends on what sort of animal you are, says Jill. The cats eat fish, the dogs eat bones, the donkey eats straw, the camel eats leaves, the horses eat hay, the rabbits eat carrots, the cow eats grass, the guinea pig eats lettuce, the goldfish eat fish food, and Manny, well, he eats everything, but then he is a goat. I'm a human, says Terry, and I like to eat marshmallows. Me too, I say. In fact, I'm on a marshmallow-only diet. I'm sorry, says Jill, but we don't have any marshmallows. They're not good for the animals' teeth, but feel free to help yourself to any of our other food. I look at Terry. He looks at me. Well, I may not be able to understand animals like Jill can, but we can understand each other, and what we're both thinking is I don't like any of those foods, especially not grass. Mind you, in the end, doesn't really matter. Because once Jill bangs the dinner gong, we can't even get near the table. The food is gone in about 30 seconds flat. After our no dinner, we play a game of pin the tail on Mr. Hee-Haw, which is kind of fun until Terry accidentally pins the tail on Mr. Hee-Haw's nose and Mr. Hee-Haw gets mad and bites Terry on the hand. Luckily, Jill has the rabbits well trained in first aid, especially how to treat donkey bites. I guess there must be a lot of practice around here. After Joe read us and all the animals a bedtime story, Terry and I say goodnight and go to bed. Oh, well, sighs Terry as we turn off the light. I'm a bit hungry and my hand is sore, but at least the bed is nice and big. And it is, too. But then the door opens and all the animals all pile up into the bed with us. Hey, get out of here, says Terry. Go and sleep in your own bed. But the animals take no notice of him. I think this is their bed, I say. That's what Joe was telling us earlier, but I couldn't hear her properly. I don't know if you ever tried to sleep in a bed full of animals, but I sure wouldn't recommend it. The horses have galloping dreams. The rabbits play hide and seek in the blankets. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. The dogs sleep bark. Howl, howl. And the goldfish play punk rock all night. I don't know how, but their bowl ends up in the bed with us. Things don't get any easier in the morning either. There's only one toilet, one shower, and one bowl of porridge. Sure, it's a big bowl, but it's animal flavored. Yuck. You know, says Terry, I like Joe's house, but there's no place quite like home. You're right about that, I say. I really miss the treehouse. So do I, says Terry. I wish I never invented that stupid Once Upon a Time machine. Yeah, me too, I say. Only if you were as good as uninventing things as you are inventing them. Oh, you mean like Professor Stupido? Says Terry. Who? I say, Professor Stupido, the famous inventor, says Terry. Ha, I say, very funny. I'm not trying to be funny, he says. There really is an inventor called Professor Stupido. But that's crazy, I say. You can't uninvent things. Oh, yeah? Says Terry. Well, what about frogpotamuses? Frogpotamuses? I say, there's no such thing. Not anymore, there's not, says Terry. Thanks to Professor Stupido, he invented them all. Every last one. He hands me a comic and says, here, read this. It will help explain everything. The incredible adventures and amazing uninventions of Professor Stupido. This is the end of part 7 of the 39 story Treehouse by Andy Griffiths and Terry Denton.